Well, good afternoon everyone, and welcome back to Partickhill Station. I've been pretty busy the last week or two doing quick little videos, so please let me know if you can hear and see me. Spent some time getting things set up this morning and or this afternoon, and immediately ran Mark Hemmel down. How are you? Yeah, Mark, I saw your painting of the prairie. That's very good. Brings a sense of realism to it. Good, Mark. Thanks for that. I ran into some issues with my cameras because I use old iPhones that I've had, and for whatever reason today two of them wouldn't function, and also my webcam isn't working too well, so really not sure what the problem is. And you know, doing this kind of stuff, if it's not one thing, it's another. Tom Houston, good evening, how are you? What's happening at your place? So yeah, I've been busy doing little bits here and there, and the one I did last night was the servicing of the little Dock Authority shunter. Now, I have a couple of these, and you know, I have a couple of these, and both of them were in a state of disrepair. So one of them went under the knife, as they say, and I managed to get it running. So it might have been you, Mark, that was asking about the rollers from the rolling road. And I bought these years ago, and at the time I just couldn't get them working for whatever reason. And I bought 3 of them. But in the meantime, I'll just go down here for a second. I did find this rolling road at a model railway show, and I think I paid $50 or $60 for it. It's a HM unit and works quite well, but you know, it takes up a bit more space, and you have to run a few more wires. So for small stuff, these little rollers work quite well, as you saw in that little video. So got a bit carried away. Yeah, you get a bit carried away. You must have been doing multiple services at the same time. It was a guy or guys in the UK that I bought them from. As I said, it was a number of years ago, and I just can't track the receipt or information, but I don't think it'd be too hard to find. Yeah, it really is a good idea for space saving. It works quite well. So yeah, Mark, big improvements on your videos. You know, getting the face out there, and don't be shy. That was great. And you know, the thing is, doing these live broadcasts, they are a real pain because there are just so many things that can go wrong. Trains come off the track, trains stop at points. They don't run. You got to analyse the problem before you go live. All these issues, and then trying to speak, keep an eye on what's going on, and think on your feet. It is a bit of a challenge, and it takes a bit of practice. So yeah, just keep working away at it, Mark. There's got to be a happy medium somewhere, and I think you sort of touched on it because you recorded quite a bit of that one video, I believe, and then you pieced it together with a bit of live stuff, or at least, you know, you did it in 2 sections. Maybe you can expand on that. Too much going on, yeah, it really is true. It's a big undertaking, and you know, unfortunately, while you might get a lot of viewers, I don't often get many likes, and I hear all the other guys talking about it. Well, you know, like the Monday Club. I watch the Monday Club, and Jenny's always saying, well, you know, there's 148 viewers right now, but there's only 76 likes. Please like. And that's exactly what goes on. Rose McGowan. That's my big sister spying on me to see what I'm up to. Yeah, so Rose, welcome to Partickhill Station, and you can see it in the other view there. If I just point back, you know, there it is, Partickhill. So I'll have to watch my P's and Q's while she's on. Anyway, so it is really, it's a lot of effort, and you don't really get a lot in return. Well, there you go, Rose, you're getting a hello from Mark down in England. So as I said, you know, well, why do you do it? Well, you do it because you like model railways, you like building stuff, you like making stuff, and you want to be famous. Now that might be true in many cases. My daughter's famous on YouTube. Her name is Kristen. You should check her out. I mean, I've got 700 and odd subscribers. She's got over 1 million. So I'm really not quite sure what it is. Maybe because she's better looking than me. I'm not really too sure. But it's a funny old world. Yeah, I just get interrupted there by a tender-driven local doing a little bit of spinning. Anyway, a few years ago, you may remember Build Your Own Model Railway, or something like that. And this was a magazine that was produced, and you can get it all, you can obtain it in all the sort of top end news agents, W.H. Smiths and whoever else. And they were, if you bought the magazine, it came out every fortnight. They gave you a free local. I was like, oh my God, got to get that. So I got right on the phone to my cousin in Glasgow and said, hey, can you pick me this up and I'll pay you? Right, no problem. So that was arranged. And this is an example. Hope you can see it okay. without glare. This is an example of what you received. So I think the first edition was £3 or something, or £4.50, and you got a local. It's just unbelievable. They are just like the real model. Now, having said that, I've seen articles where people have taken this and they've put a motor in it and probably put new wheels and linkage in and got it running. So basically they used the shell of it, but it's a great looking loco, and you can just see it sitting over in the corner. It'd probably fit right in. Now there's, I've got to get one without a glare. See, there's another example. It's just fantastic, and funnily enough, the price would go up every couple of weeks. So maybe £4.50, £5, whatever. And they gave you, I think they gave you a mat, and I got a couple of coaches with a piece of rail in it. And you know, these have never been out of the box. A while back, if you searched in my earlier YouTubes, you'd find that I did a comparison with the Hornby locomotives that I have of these types. And it's just it's fantastic. And on the back of it, it says National Railway Museum. Now, I'm not sure if these are also available at the National Railway Museum, and I really don't know how much they would sell for, but they're really fabulous models, and we get another 3 up there. And this one, the wheels look improved on this one in comparison with others. More kind of lifelike. Yeah, so I don't think I'll be trying my hand at trying to get a motor in there. I think that's just a big undertaking. So yeah, and as I said, I want to give a big shout out to Mark, because he's made a big effort to do the videos and upgrade his model railway. And I know there's not a lot of room there, but funny thing, I don't know who the guy was, and I meant to write it down, but there was a guy on YouTube, and he popped up at the end of his table, and there couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 inches there, but he managed to get his head up just above the table to show how he could get to the back. It was unbelievable. You're better off with a little step ladder he could reach over. So you've probably seen my model of the Clyde Puffer. I've got a lot of work to do on it. There's no question. It's far from finished. And you know, I use the coffee sticks for the decking. Yeah, Tom, I got some of the carriages. I can't see them right here, but yeah, nice carriages with a little piece of track in it. I think I got 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, my wife would be complaining if I started to put trains in a glass cabinet upstairs. Like, no chance. So I found from dark castings some little figures. Get this the right way up. Yeah. There you go. A captain and a fisherman. So they'll look perfect once I get them painted and onto the Clyde puffer. I've got the cargo hold cover, the hatch cover, already set out, pretty basic, flat cover. Oh, thanks Mark, I really appreciate that. And then I'll get the shell plate, and you know, I saw in a magazine I found, it said use 1 piece of 20 thou plastic card. But you know, it's a case of exploring which adhesive is best for that, because I've got foam core as part of the structure here, and I just have to make sure that the plastic card will adhere to the foam core, and what's the best way, the best adhesive to use for that. And Dan, Parahandy, there you go, see Parahandy and the Vital Spark. Well, we were back in Scotland a couple of years back, and we took a trip up the Highlands one day, and one of the stops was a place called Inverary, where the Duke of Argyll lives, and in the harbour was a Vital Spark. It's sitting there. I'm sure it's a Vital Spark. I just couldn't get close enough to see it. But I managed to do a little watercolour painting under this notice board canopy, because it was raining all day. Horrible. But I managed to get it done. Nice little watercolour painting. And I had it all closed off on the pier, and I couldn't get up to the boat itself. But yeah, that's I can remember them going up and down the Clyde when I was a kid. Lots and lots and lots of them. They've just puff, 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 puff their way down the river. Yeah, well, it's on my list, and that's the problem. You know, there's a number of things I want to do. Now, you saw my 3D printing examples, and you know, I did the complete thing. I demonstrated in the software how you model, and then how to transfer it over to the printer. So there are, I get them right up there. Now, this one, sorry, that one there was the one I did on my printer, and it came out really well. Very happy with it. You know, got hinges on there and a door handle. I explained there was one little drawback, and that was the roof of it. Now, as you can see, slightly, it's a sort of 4-corner peaked roof, and you know, the printer was able to interpret that geometry to get the slopes, but it didn't really come out the way I thought, but otherwise I was very happy with it. And you know, I painted it, and then one of them this one here, I've started weathering it. There's another one somewhere on the track. Oh, I see it. Yeah, there's a couple that I've weathered. So they've been out on the track for some time, as you can see. Now, I told you at that time, or around about the time I was doing this, that the nozzle on my 3D printer was plugged, and I was having trouble with it. I thought, you know, I ordered new nozzles thinking I'm going to have to try and get it out, and I had difficulty with that. And then I thought, okay, I'll go to the library if I can get in and speak with them there, because the libraries have 3D printers. So I took the model on a memory stick and went over there, and the girl says, yeah, I'm sure we can do that, no problem. She came back with a snapshot from the screen, and she had orientated it that way. And I said, oh, that's strange, because on mine I just print it in the vertical position and it's no problem. Now when you think about it, the roof would be more difficult because it's sloped, and the printer head would need to go around that way. When it's on the side, I think that's a little bit more challenging. Anyway, she says, okay, she gave me I'll call you when I've got a sample for you. And she sent me a note, and I went over, and sure enough, there was one there. I said, oh, that's great, yeah, go ahead please. So I ordered 12. I think it cost me $5.37, but that was okay. So when I got it back, let me find one that's obvious here. Now you need to look closely at this. You see that shape on the roof? Well, you can see it's a little bit raised. So the printer she used, she told me this. I don't know what printer she used, and she never explained the logic, so it didn't make a lot of sense to me. She printed it in a horizontal position, and as such ended up with a weird shape on the roof, and that's it filed down. There was a geometric shape that just didn't make sense. And then on the back of it, you can see the texture, you know, on either side there. That is when you print anything, you start out and it makes what they call a raft, R-A-F-T, and it's just a flat area on which it can build the actual object. So what it means is that it gives me a bit of work to do to take a file to try and get rid of that, and also to get rid of that on top. Now, there are a couple of different materials that you can use for a filament 3D printer. The material I use is PLA, and I think she may have used a different material on her machine. But anyway, I mean, what it boils down to is I've just got to do a bit more work on this one. So it works fine. I can do 9, 12 at a time. Doing 9, I think it took 3 hours and 40 minutes. So I would just pop in and out, check that it was printing, and yeah, it's working away. Yeah, Tom, it does. In this particular case, it hasn't come off. I'm having to file it. But in mine, it's no problem. It's thin. You just grab it and rip it, and it comes right off. So, you know, I'll probably do a few other things. Now, if you can see this, that's a barrel, an oil barrel. Or, sorry, let me rephrase that, an oil drum. And that was printed on a resin printer. With the resin printer, you get a much finer finish. If you look closely at these, very closely, you will see all these lines, and those lines represent the layers of material that gets laid down, so you can define the thickness of the layer. And I think I use 0.1 millimeter. So when you think about that, you know, the head's going at a specific speed, and you know, 0.1 millimeter, and these got to be probably 25 millimeters thereabouts. So that gives you an idea of how long it might take. So I'm going to make a few more of these things, odds and ends, and so there's another example, the red and yellow one. Now, there's Fred. Hey Fred, how are you? We're just talking about 3D printing, Fred. So yeah, I'll do a few more things, and you know, for any of you who have not attempted 3D modelling, in a very basic level, it's very simple. You know, to do this, you create a rectangle in 3D, then you set the dimensions to it, and then you bring in another rectangle and you change that size and make it, or in the case of the roof, I used a pyramid solid model, brought it in and then modified the dimensions. And then for the base slab, I just used an ordinary cube and I changed the dimensions. And that means at that point you've got three elements, the box, the lid and the base, and then add in the doors. It's just a case of bringing in another cube, changing the dimensions and pushing it up against the box so that it's perfectly aligned. And then smaller pieces, same process, bring in a cube, modify it, change the dimensions and drop it into place on the cover. So once you got all that done, then you say you want to align all those pieces so that it comes out the way it should. I bought a Hornby A4 with a missing front balance. So I 3D printed one. It looked great until I painted it. Love to see that. I had a quick look at that software you mentioned. Just can't remember the name of it, but I had a quick look at it. Something similar to SolidWorks, I think. But yeah, that would be interesting to see. So you can do anything, you know. And as I say, once you get this alignment thing, there are little guides that come up under the model on the screen, and then you can click these little bubbles that indicate where it is in X, Y and Z, right? And you pick the middle one in each, and that will align the whole thing, and then you can slice it with the slicing software and put it onto a card, in my case a microchip, and then go over to the printer, insert it into the printer, and you get a little screen in the printer, and it will list all the models that are in that are on that card. Now OpenSCAD, yeah, that's it. So you know, you get it in, you bring it in, it opens up the little screen, and you search down for the name that you gave it, and it should be have an extension called G code. Now G code, for those who are not familiar, is simply put, if that's your start point and you want to construct a cube 5mm by 10mm by 5mm, then that's basically what you do. That is how the computer interprets the sliced model that you put in there. There's a starting point, and you know, it knows that it's 5mm to that point, and it's 5mm deep, so it will start filling in all the layers up to whatever height you make it, and that's your model in the very simplest of things. When you get into complicated things like hanging over like that, there's a great one you can see out there, someone's done, of a British telephone box, and the only way to do it was to put it on a slope, and when you do that, the computer it will build supports all the way down so that it creates a raft on top of those supports, and then it builds the model on top of it. Yeah, so it's really very interesting. Anyway, just to move on for a second. So now what I'm going to look at is, and you can see here, let's see if I can see that. Yep. So that's a 3D printed buffer stock, and that's it in its raw printed format with that red colour, and that's it painted. Now, let's see if we can, yeah. Now let's see if we can see this. If you look closely enough, there are little grooves in the bottom of the ties, and that fits perfectly onto the track. There you go, it snaps in place. Anyway, here's the most likely the shuttle service. That's the Strathclyde public transit that would go across the north side of Glasgow, where we lived, all the way out to Helensburgh, Loch Lomond and beyond, and it would go right into the city centre and out to the east side of the city centre, and it also ran sort of every direction, servicing all the outlying suburbs and communities. Anyway, so as I said, I've got the track all the way around here and coming back there, and as I told you before, I got this little unit from China. It's much smaller than that unit down there, the Clipper, which still works, by the way. So now I've got a speed control and a stop direction. So we're going to see if we can get this working here. And what I haven't done is I haven't cut the track, so this will all be done manually. But and maybe somebody could give me a heads up here, but if that's the motor, then I think I should cut the track about there and then put the diodes in, and then the same over here, so that this would come up and basically stop there. Alright, so let's see if we can get this going. Okay, so So, as you see, it's not automatic at this point. It's all done by fingers. And the other thing is, I've got a bit of rewiring to do. This has got to come out, and I'll build something along here. Sort of derailment while we were chatting, looking at something else. So, yeah, that's how it will work, and you know, I'll find the sort of sweet speed for it, which might be that, and you can set it so that it stops at the station for a specific amount of time. I'm not sure why this has been derailing. Maybe turn the speed down a little bit. Anyway. Hey, Flymo. Hello, Luke. Nice to see you dropping by. So, yeah, there's a number of things that we've touched on. 3D printing, a shuttle service, a bit of modelling for the Clyde Puffer, and I'm also, I think I told you, I'm in the process of disposing of my late friend's collection. I've got stacks of model railway magazines that regrettably are going to get put in the dump or go to the charity shop where I don't think there'll be much interest. Better than Cam 2, as it were, the resolution and contrast. Like, yeah, you know, like what you're seeing. Like, I'm speaking to you through the laptop, and then what you're seeing in the other view is my iPhone 11. For some reason, the Brio webcam didn't work today, and another iPhone, I think that's an iPhone 6S or 8S, didn't work too well either. So I'm down to this arrangement, and I think that works just fine. So yeah, so back to the topic of disposing of my friend's collection. So his wife gave me a whole bunch of books on locomotives, railways, all kinds of stuff. Like, and I'll never read them. I'll never get through them. I just have to find somebody that would be interested in receiving them. And also, I got 3 boxes of DVDs. He had obviously picked them up, either ordered them or got them included from a magazine. But there's LNER, LMS, GWR, Southern, Grand Central, like all kinds of stuff. And you know, I asked one person if they were interested in receiving a few, and they said, well, yeah, I'd love to, but I don't have a DVD player. And that's technology for you. I've got a DVD player, and I've actually got a VHS player. And the reason I'm hanging on to it is I've got a stack of family film that we'd taken over the years, and it's all on VHS. And I've got one of these little box things that you connect from, at the moment, from the VHS player through your computer, and by the wizardry of technology it translates it and puts it into, I don't know, an .mov maybe, I can't remember. But it's tedious because you've got to sit there on a little screen and watch this. And the problem with VHS is Something for my friend's husband, railway stuff for several £1,000 of locals, yeah. So, the problem is that the tape deteriorates over time, and the resolution isn't always good in the outcome. So, through the winter, we're going to try and get something done. And we'll start off making it a little task, one at a time. So, yeah, several £1,000s. My friend would just he'd get the Model Railway or Model Rail magazine, Railway Modeller, and he'd go through the Hattons offerings of Rails of Sheffield, and he'd go, oh yeah, I'll buy this, this, and this. And so, I don't know how many he's got, but there's lots there. And I'd say that they're all digital. But a number of them, he did it himself. He bought the chip and then he put it over. So he said, as I say, he's got boxes and boxes of locomotives. Now, they have a grandchild, but the wee boy's only 3, so it's going to be a long time before he's going to be able to play around with the electric train set, as they would say. And I was able to salvage a part of the layout that she could reinstall in their basement in the home, because this all came from a cottage. Anyway, so I've been kind of tasked of trying to put this one section back together, and unfortunately what happened was, before I got there to take it apart, she had pulled all the pins from all the track, and I then had to go back in and lift them, separate them, disconnect them from all the points as best I could. Sure, the tapes you can. Yeah, that's right. You can just keep going about your business, doing whatever. So I was able to separate most of the points, but some of them were complicated, like double slips, crossovers, and I was looking at some of the prices, like £85 for that type of thing. So she's kept those pieces because they're in this, like a terminus station leading out to something else. So there's a turntable at the one end, and I've got to get all that re-hooked up. And as I say, it's DCC. Now there's Lee. Hello, Lee. Yeah, somebody was on the other day and said, I'm not sure whose channel it was. Oh, I know who it is. There's a young guy that was looking to get 1,000 subscribers before Christmas. This was last year. So now he's got like way more than 1,000. And he said that he bought these locomotives and then he lost his job, whatever, he was a student but lost his job, and he ended up selling it back to Hattons. But he only got 30% of the price. That's abominable, like 30%. And they were all in great condition, and he still had the boxes. So I'm really not sure what's going on there, where one would get the best price. But see, the problem is, here in Toronto, there's no model railway shops. It's model railroad, but they don't deal with British model railways. So, yeah, and I said to him, Mark, I'd really like to know what your secret is, because I've been doing this for 8 years or more. Yeah, I think 8 years or 10 years maybe. Like the first video that I put up was from Hawaii, when we rented a convertible. Yeah, not the convertible I was hoping for. I wanted the Mustang convertible, but all I had was the Chrysler 3000 convertible, which I took anyway. And that, I think, was 8 years ago. But there was a couple before that. So I went through a sort of long period of irregular postings, and I was having to do a lot of travel through business, so I didn't always have the opportunity to do it, or the equipment with me. Anyway, so then I got back into it and started posting stuff about more travel, model railways, art, cars, whatever I felt interested in. And, you know, of course, the channel began to grow and grow. But my daughter said to me, "Oh, Dad, you should really just focus on one thing, because if somebody goes into your model railway site and sees travel videos, they're going to think, oh, what's that all about?" And I thought, well, maybe you're right. You know, so for the most part, I've been focusing on model railways, but every now and again I'll go rogue and maybe downtown Toronto, and I'll do a bit of filming down there and then post it. So anyway, I said to this guy, oh, you know, like, I'd be really happy to find out what you did to get 1,000. But you'll need to go in and look at how many subscribers he's got. I mean, it's enormous. And he's got this tiny little layout. Well, good luck to him. You know, that's great. And it just demonstrates how difficult it is. 5 years of just over 400, yeah. You know, I work on the thumbnails, I do the thumbnails, and mine would be 1,000, but I'm putting a time slot in it. I'm just happy sharing my journey. Yeah, and I agree, Mark, that's what it's all about. But, you know, the 1,000 would be good, because other things happen, as you know, when you get 1,000. Yeah, I know. But you know, don't quote me on that 30%, because it wasn't me. It was somebody else that said that. Hearsay. Let's say it's just hearsay, because you know, I've bought a few things over the years from Hattons, and never had a problem. Well, yeah, talk about he must have the patter, Charlie. Yeah, he must have. I thought at first I was going to say he must have the potter, which reminded me about my Harry Potter train sets, of which I have 2, unopened. I bought them when they first came out thinking, these will become collector's items. Well, I've still got them in the other room, stored away. They're really good looking, and I think it's the Hall locomotive that was actually used in the movie, and 2 Lima coaches, the track and the transformer and cardboard castle, that type of thing. And I'm thinking of putting it out on the market locally as Christmas is coming round, so it might be something that people are interested in getting, because I seriously have to consider getting through the collection and deciding what I'm keeping at this point and what I should move. Yeah, you know, it's every now and again there's some great deals come up. And the other thing is, if you look at Barry Davis now, big shout out to Barry Davis again, because he does great stuff and I really like watching his show. And he delves into what the best deals are and where you can buy old new locos for great prices. And why bother spending £200 when you can spend £100 or less? So Barry knows all the ins and outs. Paul Vorman. Tommy Cooper, how are you? We're okay, Paul, thanks. Yeah, that's nice on the wheels, yeah. Yeah, Tom, I'd say that many people have bought stuff from Hatton's and been very happy with it. So the problem is, you know, trying to move it on now. In the UK, it shouldn't be a problem, but here in North America, it's difficult, and you know, post and packaging, sending it to the UK. While, you know, I might ask, you know, $100 or $125 for, you know, a princess, let's say. Now, to you that might only be £50 or £60. Yeah, maybe £60. But for that, there might be another $25 postage. I'm not sure. You know, I'd have to work that out. So that is a challenge for me, sending stuff back to the UK. You know, I'd have to find people locally that would be interested. Yeah, the 2 Southern engines. Yeah, in great detail. Yeah. Models. Never a dull moment with Paul. So, yeah, that's a excuse me, a dilemma. I'm a member of a group called the Platelayers, but we haven't been at a train show for 2 years now. Hopefully in the spring, and you know, at that point I might try and sell off stuff, because you just can't run them all, especially when you get a smaller size layout. Anyway, Mark, you'll be Newland Railway, good evening. How's it going? we've spoken about 3D models, model making, a shuttle, different odds and ends. Yeah, Quasimodo, yeah. Oh yeah, and the other thing is the topic of engine driver and fireman, which I just painted up. And I firmly believe that there should be crew in every loco if you can make it. How many times have you been in a station and you've seen a train whiz by with no crew? Yeah. And how about the young guy on YouTube that goes right over the top with the train spotting? I don't know if you've seen that guy. UK stock in Canada. That might work. Yeah, so you need to look for Francis, is it? I don't get that one. +50 years of back problems, +50 years of bending over the railway. Yeah. So, see if we can get another little tour. So, I was able to pick up some stuff from my friend's layout, including these retaining walls here, which is basically foam with a paper cover and a bit of detailing on the top. And this structure here, I'll probably 3D model another hopper and put it in. And that's a Metcalf kit. This is a water tank, I believe. And then this one, it was the same foam and carved, and then paper covers for the archways, and then I added some flock and whatever to go along with my Highland church. And then there's the free factories that you can get, and some more in different variety of retaining walls. Really simple, and that's one that I built, plus my corrugated iron sheet fencing. Now the thing about that is, I don't know if you're getting the nickel. I shouldn't. You know, I built the concrete wall there. I explained to you how I did that, and there's the beginnings of the tunnel, and some rock formations that will probably end up being a grey colour, and then more of different type of arch. Now the interesting thing about the corrugated iron fence is I purchased this tool from Brunel Models in Melbourne. Now, if you know a guy called Dave Hourigan from Melbourne, Dave's Modelling, or Dave's Workshop Modelling, I can't remember, I follow this guy, and he makes these wonderful scale buildings, like 1 to 25, 1 to 48, that type of thing. And he did this thing with taking tin foil and making it into a corrugated iron fence. So there you go, you get the message. I inquired where how he made them, and well, he demonstrated it in one of his videos, and I asked where he got this tool, and he told me it was a company in Melbourne called Brunel Models. So I inquired, but what I got was a 1 to 87 scale. That's all they had suitable, and you know, it worked okay. I think you may have seen my little Anderson shelter. Right, so I ordered it, it came up, and I went ahead and started making things, but the little male side of the tool snapped off. Anyway, cut long story short, they have come back to me and said we'd be happy to send you a replacement, and it will be 1 to 76 because it's a new line that they've got, as long as you pay the postage. And I said, yeah, that's fair enough, just please go ahead. So I'm awaiting that, so that's another thing sort of keep me busy. Oh, so didn't realise you'd actually physically hurt yourself, Paul. I've got a little bit of a bad back myself. I hurt it playing football years and years ago, and it's kind of hung around like a bad smell. I try, it comes back every now and again, but it's basically under control because I do enough stretching and whatever, and I know how to deal it if it comes on. End up like a parrot, you know, uncomfortable, lasts a few days and then it goes. So, yeah, I'm just getting the sign that I've got a low battery. Let's see how long that lasts. Sold the house for a massive profit. That's great. Just go and buy a bigger one now. Tins, garden for the year. What's that one? Yeah. Yeah, I went on to YouTube or Google and found the dimensions and put it together. Threw in a bit of flock and the old tyre, and it looks great. Yeah. Boom boom, yeah. Got another one, Paul. Yeah, well, that sounds like a carpet stripper. Or carpet gripper. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'll have a look around, see if I can find one of those just to try it out. So do another shout out here to cheeky tech model railway. Old Oak Common, I think the name of his station is. I watched him this morning. Terrific stuff, absolutely terrific. He's got the mini cameras on the locos, and it goes around filming everything, and then his cinematography in general was really top class, and I liked all the buildings that he had and the bridges and the weathering that he'd done, and so on and so forth. So yeah, if you haven't seen his YouTube channel, just go and check it over. Old Oak Common, really very, very good, and lots of things there that I'd like to have a look at myself. Oh, do you know him, Fred? That's good, interesting. Well, you can tell him I gave him a shout out, and that I really enjoyed his video today. So we've been in over an hour, and you know, you always get to the point where you say, oh, what do I talk about next? And that's always a challenge, because you go over it in your head and you write a few notes down about what you want to speak of, and then you come to a point you go, oh, I don't know what to say next, but something always comes out. Oh, you were on the show with him, Fred. When was that? Let me know and I'll check it out. Always interested to see what other people are doing. So years ago, somebody was clearing out a collection, and I managed to get a bunch of these Airfix bulk cement carriers, and they're really very well done. And so that when I found them, that prompted me to do the Blue Circle cement works. I went into Google, whatever, I checked out some factories that they owned, and I came up with this. Problem is, it's a bit on the big side, and I can't find a suitable location for it. It might go in the corner over there, I'm not really sure. The whole intention was you know, to get a track running in to get filled and then out the other side, and very simple to make. A packing tube, some card, and these are it's not scale scenes, I can't remember the name of it, but you can download their corrugated sheeting. So I did a mixture of painted corrugated sheets and rusted just to mix it up, and I got this, I think I made that and just stuck it on there. So yeah, so that's where getting this came from, and I got quite a number of those. Some of them are, well, they're pretty old, I think, because they've been falling apart, some of them. You know, I go to pick it up and something falls off, the glue's dried out. Alan Reynolds in the loft. Alan, whereabouts in Viva España are you today? I hope you found an interesting pirate parking spot that we can all check out. Yeah, check it out, Mark. It's really really worth it. Yes, they were. I always had the Spitfire, Hurricane, Lancaster, B-52, etc., hanging from the ceiling above my bed. And you know, if you look at the set running round, that's the one that's got the Carabelle car transporter that I've broken down a bit, and then taken an old Airfix Spitfire, taken it apart, put it on there to transport the Spitfire. I worked for Blue Circle 10 years, and you got over 60 trucks. Wow, very, very good, Paul. You need to let us see that sometime. Nerha Toro. I guess that's what how you pronounce it. Nerha Toro. Yeah, see, everybody's saying hi to Alan, jealous of where he is. And you know, here the sun's still bright. It's about 12, 13 degrees. We're very fortunate. Wonderful fall weather. Long may it last, because not looking forward to the winter. It's brutal. I've a 24-inch wide snowblower run on petrol gas, and I started it up just a couple of weeks ago and let it run for about 15-20 minutes to burn off most of the old gas. No wonder you've got back trouble. Yeah, the problem is that the problem is we sometimes get 12, 18 inches of snow at a time, and then it drifts, and guys who come around, they offer a service to clear your driveway for an amount of money, and because I've got the snowblower I can do it myself, but they go around and clear everybody's driveway, and the town come around with these enormous big blades and whoosh, the end of your 2-car driveway is blocked with all this heavy snow. Yeah, 20 tons of 52 kilograms, yeah, that's for sure. Okay, Alan, you take care. I look forward to seeing your next video. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, I've another friend, he lives round about Nottingham somewhere, and he travels down to Spain and Portugal and Italy. He did last year, but the problem was that the parking, the camping sites were all closed. Now, I'm not sure if they were closed because of the virus or for another reason, but he was forced into renting an apartment. And you know, they might just be cutting back, because Alan says on his broadcasts, when he pulls into a town, you know, he sees a sign, no camper parking. So he's got to go in the sort of outskirts of the village or the town to try and find a spot. Oh yeah, Chicago. Oh. Hey, Chicago's a beautiful city. I love Chicago, been there a few times. Like Toronto, it's right on the lake, and they get the prairie wind, plus they get a northerly wind coming down the lake, and yeah, bitter cold. And I think I told you I was in Winnipeg for nearly 2 years. Well, it was 2 years, and it was minus 40 with a wind chill factor sometimes. I just cannot explain to you how cold that is. Never go to Winnipeg in the winter. Yeah, the snowplows, yeah. So talking about places that are safe to go to, Mexico is no longer safe. A friend of mine had a house down there in Playa del Carmen, and yeah, no, it's Lake Michigan. Donegal, Dad. Hey Mark, how's it going? Anyway, so this friend had a house down in Playa del Carmen. Nice place. But they recently sold it because you know, there's shootings down there in the main street, and it's just getting totally out of hand. So it's decided you know, time to get out, recoup her money, or get out with what she paid for it, whatever, and move on, because you're taking too much of a chance. So one thing that came up, or one location that came up, was Montevideo. Montevideo, of course, is in Uruguay. In the River Plate, that historical sea battle that took place there. But you can get an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment there for 400 Canadian dollars, and it's clean, it's nice and warm, it's safe. There are sort of retirement communities of what they call snowbirds. That's people that live in North America and want to escape the winter. Niagara Falls, good evening. I was down Niagara Falls not too long ago, and I found that locomotive store. So I asked the girl how much it would be. $12. Well, $12. And you know, I was there with my wife, and it was all lights and North American stuff, and so I decided to give it a body swerve, as they say. So everybody's saying hello to Mark. So I guess it's nice down in Niagara. It was nice when we were there. That was back in September. Spent a couple of days there. It wasn't too busy. Yeah, people were wearing masks. It was warm, actually. It was really quite warm in September. So yeah, Montevideo, and then also down in Argentina. It's supposed to be, I know it's nice there. Like, I've seen lots of travelogues on it, and it's got a European blend to it, because the British were there for the longest time. They built mines and then cattle ranches, and they put in train lines everywhere in order to get all the product to the port in Buenos Aires, so that they could ship the meat back to the UK. And what they did was, because they were taking sheep from New Zealand and Australia, they designed refrigerated vessels to get them up to the UK, and they would stop off in Buenos Aires to pick up cattle. So yeah, it's a very attractive looking city, and from all accounts relatively safe. But don't cry for me Argentina, if you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly, Final. No question. So I think you saw this one, or you may have seen this one, that I received from my friend. It would be an unexpected visitor to Partickhill Station. Not really sure what to do with it. As I said, it'd be kind of odd running around here. West Coast, yeah. Well, Playa del Carmen is the one holiday resort, and then a bit further north on the peninsula there's a big town. Yeah, it is, and it runs really smooth. Yeah, I'll need to think about what's going to happen with that one and the other one. Not really sure where I put the other one. I moved it for storage reasons. Anyway, you know, if you're building platforms, there's a simple way of doing it. Cut out a piece of foam, put a piece of card on top, and then these white stones, you can make them. My friend did this, and you can make them by going into Excel and, you know, colouring the slots white, and then, you know, you leave the line in between, print it out, cut them, stick them on, and you've got a platform. A really great idea. And you know, if you want to get some separation, you know, a little wall made out of foam core and cover it with brick papers. Sci-fi loco, steampunk. Well, that would be interesting to see. Yeah, and you know, I have this beautiful Caledonian Railway single. You know, it runs on here okay. The odd point is a bit of a challenge, but it would probably be more suitable to something that's got a big long run. and you know, I've got 5 or 6 matching cream and red coaches for that. Yeah, so if anybody's interested in that one, let me know. I'll see what we could work out. Oh, your home help, yeah. I've actually got a bag of it outside, all bits and pieces that my friend had. He made it for ramps for an elevated section. You know, you buy that stuff from Woodland Scenics. And then of course all the walls, all the retaining walls are all built with foam and carved. So yeah, it's great what you can do. Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it is. It's really nice, and you know, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and run it here. So we'll just hold that one and change a point here. Yeah, it just has a little bit of an issue with the points because that's a big wheel that it's got there, and as you see it can get through, not a problem, but let's see if we can follow it around here. Yeah, just does the hiccups in one or two of those points. I might be changing some of them. Flymo, great to have you here. Yeah, we'll see you again soon, and you take care too. Thanks for dropping by. Alright, so I'm just trying to see what the time is. 3:05, so it's 8:05 over your way. Maybe it's time to say sayonara, as they would say. Donegal Dad, thanks Mark, we'll catch you later. Be in touch. No, it picks up in the engine, in the loco. Yeah, I think I may have just oiled it a bit the other day. And you know, now it's running fine. The more it runs, the better it is. I've got a couple of bad pieces of track that are in there between 2 points, and I need to get that out and get a better piece of track in, because that's one point where it hesitates. Okay, Mark, thanks very much. Appreciate you dropping in. You too, Fred, Paul Vosman, Mark at Donegal Dad. Yeah, I see it just ran into a wee bit of a problem there, but so bye everybody, and we'll see you next time here at Partickhill Station. All the best and keep modelling. Bye for now. Bye, Lee.